By definition, a sacred prostitute uses sex as a means to spiritual enlightenment. Occult traditions, such as Tantra and magical orders which engage in alchemical rituals, believe that sexuality becomes sacred as the goddess residing in every woman is honored. Ishtar, the great whore of Babylon, was sometimes called the goddess Har, since she was the mother of all harlots. These harlots were not prostitutes as we know them, but priestesses, sorceresses, prophets, and healers. Herodotus wrote that the Babylonian brides were required by law to prostitute themselves at the temple for 7 days prior to marriage. In fact, in Hellenic Greece, courtesans or prostitutes maintained a social status legally and politically equal to men, while wives were reduced to servants. Sacred whores were known sometimes as the holy virgins of goddesses such as Ishtar, Asherah, or Aphrodite. The famous Vestal virgins were thought to have practiced secret sex magical rites in honor of the Roman goddess Vesta, the same as the Greek goddess Hestia, goddess of the hearth, or center of the world. The separation into priestess and prostitute, or sacred and profane polarities, occurred for Western civilization when the early fathers of Christianity claimed power by abolishing goddess worship and other nature-based pagan religions. If we explore the etymology of the words whore or harlot, we find that the split between priestess and prostitute is a relatively recent one. The Hebrew word zona, for example, means both prostitute and prophetess. The Hebrew word hor, H-O-R, means a cave, pit, or dark hole. The Spanish word for whore, Pûtâ, derives from the Latin term for a well, but the Latin term for grave, literally, a hole in the earth, is puticuli, meaning womb of rebirth. These terms for whore were not derogatory. The Latin term had its root in the Vedic and early Sanskrit language, wherein the word Pûtâ is defined as pure and holy. The cave, the pit, the hole, and the bottomless black lake were metaphors for the great goddess, she who is unnameable, that darkness primordial from which all life or light is born. She is the everything and the nothing. The Hebrew folk dance named the Hora, a tradition at Jewish weddings, is named after the circle dances of the sacred harlots. Such holy harlots were often brides of God, similar to modern nuns, the brides of Christ, set apart to give birth to quote-unquote sons of God. The European idea of going into a womb-like space, pit, hole, lake, or river, in order to attain a new life of spirit stems from this Neolithic period. During this time, from about 15,000 BC to around 5,000 BC, the common belief system deemed the main deity was a goddess or female. In these early days, women were the mediators between the goddess and the tribe. Women were privy to divine wisdom, the Delphic oracles being one historic example of this, and it was thought necessary for a man to go through a woman in order to achieve contact with deity. Male devotees of the great goddess would seek the opportunity to be initiated by a sacred whore. In doing so, they attained knowledge of what some today refer in some esoteric circles as their true will, higher self, or holy guardian angel.
It's clear. So sacred whores. Whores, in Latin. Sacred whore, whore or harlot equals priestess, prostitute. whore in Latin is a cave, a pit, a dark hole, the bottomless black lake. Pûtâ, well-defined, pure, holy. Relates to the pit, dark hole. The bottomless black lake. The great goddess. Black hole sun, she who is unnamed. The darkness, that darkness primordial from which all light is born. She is everything and nothing, holy, holy, and holy. The sacred whore at work was in fact a manifestation of the great goddess. Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary, the holy whore. Mother of man, God, of man. And Ishtar, the great whore of Babylon. Harlots, the bestial virgins, the holy virgins of goddesses, Ishtar, Asherah, Aphrodite, practice sexual magic rites in honor of Roman goddess Vesta, the same as the Greek goddess Hestia, goddess of birth, center of the world. Latin grave equals a hole in the earth. Its particular meaning, womb of rebirth. Harlots are healers, priestesses, sorceresses, prophets. Deities and kings who go in the past to visit sacred whores and bestow their worship refers to the true will, the highest self, holy guardian angel, she of the Templar Tower. Meaning Magdalene equals she of the Templar Tower. The undivided virgin equals unmarried woman or claims ownership of self. Stories where it looked as Athena jumped off a cliff rather than submit to wedlock. Lilith, unwilling to subject herself to Adam in the male dominant missionary position, exiled herself from paradise in exchange for her sovereignty. And it is said that when the masculine bestows selflessly to the feminine, it connects the duality, and it is said that the fire, the passion, and the living waters are reborn. The passion and the living waters are reborn. The kingdom of heaven is open to those born of fire and water. It is unconditional love.